Skin cancer doesn't knock, it whispers. A tiny spot, a faint mark. Something so small most people ignore it. But for some of the biggest names in Hollywood, that innocent blemish became the beginning of a nightmare. Behind the glamour, the red carpets, and the flashing cameras, a deadly threat was quietly growing. Some stars caught it just in time. Others faced surgeries, scars, and terrifying diagnoses. And the most shocking part, many of them never saw it coming. Khloe Kardashian. In 2022, Khloe Kardashian faced a frightening reality that began with something almost impossible to notice. It was just a tiny bump on her cheek, something she assumed was a stubborn breakout. Living under constant cameras and heavy makeup, it seemed harmless. She covered it, ignored it, and believed it would disappear. But weeks passed, then months. Nearly 7 months later, the small spot was still there. When Khloe finally decided to get it checked, the truth was shocking. The innocent-looking bump was actually a tumor that needed to be removed immediately. Suddenly, a minor cosmetic concern became a serious health scare. Even more unsettling, this wasn't her first encounter with skin cancer. When she was just 19 years old, doctors had already removed a malignant growth from her back. For someone surrounded by glamour and fame, the diagnosis was a chilling reminder that no one is immune. Instead of hiding the experience, Khloe chose to share it publicly. She revealed the scar and warned millions of fans not to ignore unusual changes in their skin. Because sometimes the smallest mark can carry the most dangerous secret. Witney Carson. At just 19 years old, Witney Carson was living the dream. As a rising star on Dancing with the Stars, she dazzled millions of viewers with her energy, talent, and confidence on stage. But behind the bright lights and glamorous performances, Carson was quietly facing a terrifying reality that almost no one around her knew about. Doctors had diagnosed her with melanoma, one of the most dangerous forms of skin cancer. The news came as a complete shock. She was young, healthy, and at the peak of her career. Yet suddenly, she found herself confronting a disease that could change everything. Instead of announcing the diagnosis publicly, Carson chose to keep the battle private. Not even the show's producers or her dance partners were aware of what she was going through. While audiences watched her perform week after week, Carson secretly underwent surgery to remove a suspicious mole and several lymph nodes in order to stop the cancer from spreading. It was an emotional and physical struggle she carried alone, all while maintaining the image of strength on national television. Years later, Carson finally revealed the truth about that period in her life. She admitted the experience was incredibly frightening, but it also gave her a new perspective on health and awareness. Today, she urges people to listen to their instincts and take skin changes seriously, because sometimes the most dangerous battles are the ones no one else can see. Ariana Madix. For years, Ariana Madix felt that something wasn't right. A small mark on her skin kept bothering her, but every time she brought it up, doctors reassured her that it was nothing serious. Still, the uneasy feeling never fully went away. Deep down, she sensed that something about it didn't feel normal. That instinct would eventually prove to be life-saving. After continuing to push for answers, Ariana finally received the diagnosis she feared. The spot was melanoma, one of the most dangerous forms of skin cancer. By the time it was confirmed, the cancer had already reached stage 1, meaning it had been growing longer than anyone realized. What made the situation even more chilling was the thought that the warning signs had been dismissed for years. Doctors moved quickly. Ariana underwent surgery to remove the tumor along with a lymph node biopsy to make sure the cancer had not spread through her body. Thankfully, the results showed it had been caught just in time. The disease had not yet reached her lymphatic system, giving her a second chance that many people are not so lucky to receive. The experience changed her perspective completely. Ariana later revealed that trusting her instincts may have saved her life. Now she speaks openly about the importance of advocating for your own health, reminding people that melanoma doesn't always come with obvious symptoms. Sometimes the most important warning sign is simply the feeling that something isn't right. Brooke Shields. In 2009, a tiny mark on Brooke Shields' face triggered a moment that would completely change the way she looked at the sun. At first, it seemed like nothing, just a small mole, the kind people see every day and rarely worry about. For someone who had spent years under bright studio lights, photo shoots, and outdoor events, it didn't seem unusual. But when doctors examined the spot more closely, the truth quickly became alarming. The mole was precancerous, a silent warning that skin cancer could develop if it went untreated. Suddenly, something that appeared harmless became a serious wake-up call. For Brooke, the diagnosis forced her to confront the reality of years spent chasing the perfect tan. Growing up in New York, she later admitted that she and her friends often sunbathed on rooftops, lying under the sun for hours without thinking about sunscreen or long-term damage. At the time, many people believed the real danger only came from painful beach sunburns. The quiet everyday sunlight didn't seem threatening, but Brooke's scare proved otherwise. The damage from the sun doesn't always appear right away, sometimes it waits for years before revealing itself. Since that moment, Shields has become far more cautious, using her experience to remind others that even the smallest spot on your skin could be a warning sign hiding in plain sight. Diane Keaton. Long before Diane Keaton became one of Hollywood's most recognizable icons, she faced a frightening reality that few young people ever expect. She was only 21 years old when doctors delivered shocking news she had skin cancer. At that age, most people feel untouchable, believing serious illness happens much later in life. Like many in her generation, Keaton had spent years under the sun without thinking much about protection. Sunscreen was rarely discussed back then, and the hidden danger of ultraviolet rays was something very few people truly understood. The diagnosis forced her to confront a truth she had never imagined so early in life. Even more unsettling, Keaton later revealed that skin cancer had already touched several members of her family, including her father, her brother, and her Aunt Martha. What once seemed like a random health scare suddenly felt far more serious, a reminder that sun damage can stay hidden for years before revealing itself. That early battle changed the way she lived forever. Throughout her life, Keaton became extremely cautious about protecting her skin, rarely stepping outside without sunscreen or protective clothing. And when Diane Keaton passed away on October 11, 2025 at the age of 79, fans remembered not only her legendary career, but also the early health battle that shaped how she lived and warned millions about the silent danger of skin cancer. Melanie Griffith. For decades, Melanie Griffith was one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces, glamorous, fearless, and impossible to ignore. But in 2018, that very face became the center of a frightening health scare that shocked many of her fans. The actress revealed that doctors had discovered basal cell carcinoma, a common but potentially dangerous form of skin cancer, on her nose. Instead of hiding the situation, Melanie did something few celebrities dare to do. She posted a raw, unfiltered selfie showing a bandage across her face after undergoing treatment. No makeup, no filters, just the reality of what she was facing. Behind the photo was a powerful message. Griffith had undergone a dermabrasion procedure to remove the cancerous spot and repair the damage. For someone whose career had always been closely tied to her appearance, the moment was deeply personal and unsettling. The face that once dominated red carpets and movie screens now carried the visible signs of a battle many people try to hide. But Melanie refused to stay silent. She used the moment to warn her followers about the real dangers of sun exposure and the importance of catching skin cancer early. Her message was direct and urgent: never ignore suspicious spots on your skin and never wait too long to see a doctor. The scar on her face wasn't something she tried to conceal. Instead, it became a symbol of strength, proof that even in Hollywood, where image often means everything, health must always come first. Jimmy Buffett. For decades, Jimmy Buffett was the voice of sunshine, the man behind carefree beach anthems, tropical dreams, and the laid-back spirit of Margaritaville. To millions of fans, he represented freedom music and endless summer. But behind the warm smile and island rhythms, Buffett was quietly fighting a battle almost no one knew about. In 2023, the world was stunned by the news of his passing. What shocked fans even more was the revelation that the beloved singer had been battling Merkel cell carcinoma, a rare and aggressive form of skin cancer. Unlike many celebrities who share their health struggles publicly, Buffett chose to keep his diagnosis private. According to his sister Lori Buffett McGuane, he had been fighting the disease since 2019. For years, he carried this burden silently while still trying to do what he loved most, perform for his fans. When concerts were suddenly canceled, many assumed it was just exhaustion or scheduling conflicts. Few realized there was a far more serious reason behind the scenes. Merkel cell carcinoma is known for growing quickly and often appearing as a small, harmless-looking lump on the skin. That's what makes it so dangerous. By the time many people realize something is wrong, the disease may already be advancing. Even during his final chapter, Jimmy Buffett continued to embody the joy and spirit that made him a legend. His story now serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes the brightest smiles can hide the toughest battles. Christie Brinkley. For decades, Christie Brinkley was the image of effortless beauty, a supermodel whose radiant smile and sun-kissed glow seemed to capture the spirit of endless summer. But in March 2023, a routine dermatologist visit revealed a shocking truth that no amount of glamour could hide. It started with a tiny spot on her face, something so small it could easily be overlooked. In fact, Brinkley later admitted she had almost ignored it. But during a regular skin check, doctors took a closer look and quickly realized it wasn't just a harmless blemish. The diagnosis came back as basal cell carcinoma, the most common form of skin cancer. Within moments, what had seemed insignificant became a serious medical concern. Doctors moved quickly to remove the cancerous area, performing surgery directly on her face. For a woman whose career had been built on her image, the moment was deeply unsettling. Yet Brinkley faced it with remarkable grace, even joking afterward that the doctors had stitched her up like a custom Dior dress. Behind the humor, however, was a powerful message. Brinkley openly admitted that if she had waited any longer, the outcome could have been far worse. Her story became a reminder that skin cancer often hides in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary. Today, Christie Brinkley has turned her frightening experience into a mission. She urges everyone to wear sunscreen, protect their skin, and never delay a checkup, because sometimes the smallest spot can carry the biggest danger. Teddi Mellencamp. Behind the glamorous world of reality television, Teddi Mellencamp has been fighting a battle far more serious than anything viewers see on screen. Known for her time on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Teddi's life may look polished and confident, but in reality, she has been locked in a relentless war with skin cancer. Over the years, doctors have removed more than a dozen melanoma tumors from her body. Surgery after surgery, scar after scar, each procedure a reminder that the fight was far from over. For Teddi, routine skin checks became more than a precaution. They became a lifeline. Then came September 20th, 2023, a date she would never forget. What was supposed to be a routine appointment quickly turned into another nightmare. Doctors discovered yet another suspicious spot, and the biopsy confirmed the news she feared most: the cancer had returned again. That night, Teddi admitted she could barely sleep. Anxiety crept in, filling the silence with terrifying questions about what might come next. But instead of hiding the fear, she chose honesty. She spoke openly about the emotional toll, the surgeries, and the uncertainty that follows every test result. Through it all, Teddi has refused to stay silent. Her story has become a powerful warning to others. Skin cancer doesn't care who you are. Fame, fitness, and youth offer no protection. Yet her message carries hope, because catching it early can mean the difference between fear and survival. Hugh Jackman. For millions of fans, Hugh Jackman is the definition of strength, the fearless Wolverine with steel claws and unstoppable power. But behind the heroic image on screen lies a far more personal battle, one that no amount of Hollywood magic could hide. Since 2013, Jackman has faced skin cancer not once, not twice, but 6 terrifying times. It all began with a small spot on his nose, something so ordinary that most people might have ignored it. At the time, Jackman didn't think much of it either. But when doctors examined the mark, the truth was impossible to ignore. It was basal cell carcinoma, one of the most common forms of skin cancer. That moment marked the beginning of a long and unsettling fight. Growing up under the harsh Australian sun, Jackman admits he rarely used sunscreen as a child. Back then, no one thought much about the long-term damage, but decades later, those years of exposure would come back to haunt him. One procedure turned into several, each time removing another suspicious spot from his skin. In April 2023, after yet another biopsy, Jackman turned to social media with a message that felt less like celebrity advice and more like a warning from someone who had lived through the consequences. His words were simple but urgent: wear sunscreen no matter the season. Thankfully, his latest test came back negative. But Jackman didn't celebrate quietly. Instead, he used the moment to remind the world of a hard truth: no one is untouchable, not even a superhero. Andy Cohen. In 2020, television host Andy Cohen revealed a health scare that began with something most people would easily overlook. It was just a small dark spot on his lip, nothing dramatic or painful, and at first he didn't think much of it. Like many people, he assumed it was harmless. But that quiet moment of hesitation could have turned into a dangerous mistake. The turning point came thanks to a close friend. During a conversation, Kelly Ripa noticed the mark and immediately urged him to have it checked. Her reaction was blunt and urgent. She warned him it could be skin cancer, and her concern pushed Cohen to see a doctor. The diagnosis confirmed her fear: it was melanoma, one of the most serious forms of skin cancer. The news forced Cohen to confront a lifestyle he had never questioned before. For years, he loved tanning and spending long hours under the sun, believing the bronzed look was harmless. But the diagnosis changed everything. After undergoing treatment, he began taking sun protection seriously and openly shared his experience with the public. Today, Cohen often reflects on that moment when a friend spoke up and potentially saved his life. His story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the smallest mark on your skin and the concern of someone who notices it can make the difference between danger and survival. Richard Tyler Blevins Ninja. In March 2024, the gaming world was stunned when Richard Tyler Blevins, better known to millions as Ninja, revealed a health scare no one expected. At just 32 years old, the famous streamer discovered he had melanoma, one of the most aggressive forms of skin cancer. The diagnosis came after what seemed like a routine skin check, but the warning sign had actually been spotted somewhere few people ever think to look. The suspicious mole was located on the bottom of his foot, and it was first noticed not by a doctor but by his wife Jessica. Something about the mark didn't look right to her. Trusting that instinct, Ninja went to get it examined. Doctors quickly removed the mole and ran tests. The results confirmed the frightening truth: it was melanoma. To be safe, doctors also removed another nearby spot that looked suspicious. Fortunately, the cancer was caught early before it had a chance to spread. But the experience shook Ninja deeply. Instead of keeping the news private, he immediately spoke out on social media, warning his millions of followers about the importance of skin checks. His message was direct and urgent: don't wait until something becomes serious. Even young, healthy people can face skin cancer, and sometimes the smallest mark in the most unexpected place can become a life-changing discovery. Kevin Jonas. In June 2024, Kevin Jonas surprised fans with a video that quickly caught everyone's attention. Calm but serious. The Jonas Brothers star pointed to a small spot on his forehead and revealed the truth: it was skin cancer. The diagnosis was basal cell carcinoma, the most common type of skin cancer, but still a condition that requires immediate attention. At 37 years old, Kevin never expected something so small could turn into a medical scare. The spot looked minor at first, the kind of mark many people might overlook without a second thought. But doctors examined it carefully and confirmed that it needed to be removed. Soon after, Kevin underwent surgery to remove the tumor, preventing the cancer from spreading further. Instead of keeping the experience private, Kevin chose to share the moment with millions of fans. In his video, he openly showed the area where the cancer had been removed, turning what could have been a frightening secret into a powerful public message. For Kevin, the goal was simple: to remind people that early detection can make all the difference. His story is a clear warning that skin cancer doesn't always arrive with dramatic symptoms. Sometimes it appears as nothing more than a small spot on the skin. But when caught early, that small discovery can become the reason someone gets a second chance. Ewan McGregor. In 2008, actor Ewan McGregor received news that would make anyone stop in their tracks. During what was supposed to be a routine medical check, doctors discovered something concerning on his face, not one, but two suspicious moles. One of them was located dangerously close to his eye, a place no one would ever want to hear the word cancer. At first glance, the spot seemed harmless, but further testing revealed the truth: both moles were cancerous and needed to be removed immediately. For McGregor, the discovery was shocking. Like many people, he hadn't realized that small, ordinary-looking marks on the skin could hide something far more dangerous beneath the surface. Doctors quickly performed surgery to remove the cancerous tissue, preventing the disease from spreading further. The situation could have become far more serious if the moles had gone unnoticed. Fortunately, the routine check that detected them may have saved him from a much more frightening outcome. Known to millions for his roles in Star Wars and Moulin Rouge, McGregor has long appeared fearless on screen. But this moment revealed a different kind of vulnerability. The reminder that even the biggest stars can face unexpected health battles. His experience now serves as another powerful warning. Sometimes the most dangerous problems begin with the smallest signs. Andy Roddick. In May 2024, former tennis champion Andy Roddick revealed a health battle that many fans never saw coming. Known for his powerful serves and relentless energy on the court, Roddick had quietly been dealing with skin cancer for years. The truth finally surfaced during an episode of his podcast where he opened up about the procedures he had undergone to treat the disease. Doctors had discovered squamous cell carcinoma on his lip, a form of skin cancer often linked to long-term sun exposure. For someone who spent countless hours playing under intense sunlight throughout his tennis career, the diagnosis carried a painful irony. Roddick underwent surgery to remove the cancerous area and later received laser treatments to address deeper sun damage that had built up over time. For years, fans had noticed unexplained redness and inflammation on his face, often speculating about the cause. Now the truth was clear. Those visible changes were the result of a fight that had been happening quietly behind the scenes. Rather than asking for sympathy, Roddick chose to use his story as a warning. He now speaks openly about the risks athletes face when spending long hours outdoors without adequate protection. His message is simple but powerful. The sun may seem harmless during a game or a training session, but the damage can surface years later when you least expect it. Richard Simmons. In March 2024, fitness icon Richard Simmons surprised fans when he revealed a deeply personal health struggle after years away from the public spotlight. The beloved workout legend shared that doctors had discovered basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer, after he noticed a strange lump just beneath his right eye. Trusting his instincts, Simmons went to see a dermatologist, and the diagnosis confirmed his fears. Doctors quickly began treatment using a specialized instrument to burn away the cancerous cells. Simmons later described the intense pain of the procedure, explaining that the burning sensation was difficult to endure. Even more frightening, the first treatment didn't completely remove the cancer. Some cells remained, forcing him to return for a second round of treatment to ensure the disease was fully eliminated. Simmons faced the ordeal with determination and honesty, openly sharing his experience with fans. Just a few months later, on July 13th, 2024, the world was saddened by the news that Richard Simmons had passed away at the age of 76. While his death was not directly linked to the skin cancer treatment, his final public messages served as a powerful reminder to listen to your body and never ignore unusual changes in your skin. Caitlyn Jenner. A single photo was all it took for Caitlyn Jenner to spark concern among her followers. The image showed her nose wrapped in a red bandage, accompanied by a short but urgent message: "Always wear sunscreen." What looked like a simple medical update quickly revealed a much more serious story behind the scenes. Doctors had discovered basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer, on Jenner's nose. The spot was linked to years of sun exposure, something that had quietly accumulated over decades. As a former Olympic athlete and public figure who spent countless hours outdoors training, golfing, and living under the California sun, Jenner had experienced far more ultraviolet exposure than many people realize. The cancerous area was surgically removed, leaving the bandage seen in the photo she shared with the public. While Jenner did not reveal every detail of the procedure, the image itself carried a powerful message. Sometimes what appears to be a small patch of damaged skin can hide something far more dangerous beneath the surface. By sharing the moment openly, Jenner turned a personal health scare into a warning for millions of people. Her message was clear and simple: protect your skin and take suspicious spots seriously, because the damage from years under the sun can surface when you least expect it. Jowsey. In 2024, reality TV star Jowsey shocked fans when he shared a serious health update on social media. Known for his carefree personality and appearances on shows like Too Hot to Handle and Dancing with the Stars, Harry suddenly revealed something no one expected: he had been diagnosed with skin cancer. The discovery began with a small spot on his shoulder, something that had been there for more than a year. At first, it didn't seem alarming. Like many people, he assumed it was just another harmless mole. But something about it continued to bother him. Trusting his instincts, Harry finally decided to get it checked by doctors. Tests confirmed the frightening truth: the spot was skin cancer and needed to be removed. Although the diagnosis came as a shock, Harry remained calm while sharing the news with his followers. He reassured fans that he would be okay, but used the moment to send an important message about health awareness. In his typical humorous style, he even joked that if you're a freckled little frog like him, you should keep track of every mole on your body. But behind the humor was a serious warning. Harry's experience proved that skin cancer can affect anyone, even young and seemingly healthy people. His message was simple but urgent: check your skin, trust your instincts, and never ignore something that doesn't look right. Rosie O'Donnell. In September 2024, comedian and television host Rosie O'Donnell noticed something unusual near her left eye. It began as a small lump that slowly started to crust over. At first glance, it didn't seem serious, but something about the spot didn't feel right. Trusting her instincts, Rosie decided to have it examined by a doctor. The diagnosis soon confirmed her concern. Doctors identified the growth as basal cell carcinoma, a common but potentially dangerous form of skin cancer. Fortunately, the condition was caught early, giving doctors the opportunity to remove the cancerous area before it could spread further. Rosie underwent surgery and the treatment was successful. Rather than keeping the experience private, Rosie shared the news with her followers on social media. She encouraged people to pay close attention to their skin and not dismiss small changes as harmless. Even something as minor as a red bump or patch of irritated skin could be a warning sign. For Rosie, the experience was another reminder of how quickly health scares can appear. Having previously survived a heart attack in 2012 and a breast cancer scare in 2010, she understood the importance of listening to your body. Her message was clear: sometimes the smallest sign on your skin can be the warning that saves your life.